All right, so today I'm going to do some real-time filming just so you can kind of see how this stuff works. I'm going to be doing an impact area pattern, which basically goes from the front of the box to here, follows this body line. There's two separate pieces on this one. The reason we're doing it that way is this truck is going to see a lot of gravel. If we do one full piece, I have to change the whole piece just if there's damage somewhere. We're going to do it in two pieces because this piece tends to take more abuse. That way we can just switch this piece out if we need to down the road without changing the upper piece. Everything is all prepped and ready to go. So I'm just going to get to it and we'll just see how long this takes. Usually the prep process, you're going to be doing your rinse, especially on a white vehicle. You're going to want to do some Iron X, your soap, get rid of any extra greases, any waxes. The factory piece also comes with a big 3M strip here you'll have to take off. Otherwise, it's going to be in your way and you don't want to film over that because that's going to look terrible. Everything is pre-printed and I do tend to wrap all of these edges. You'll especially want to wrap this front edge of the box. It's going to be your highest impact point, and if you don't, they're going to definitely notice it and be very unhappy. When you're using your fingers for this stuff, obviously try and keep your fingers in a spot where you're not going to get any dirt in the film, so I'll always grab it from the outside edge. If you have a peel board, you can use that too, but it's on the other side. And it's just a higher chance of contamination for me to walk all the way around the truck to bring that over here. For now, I just kind of want to find the position of everything, so I'll just loosely tack it into place. Good thing with white vehicles is you can definitely pick up all of the contamination easy, but that is also the bad thing because they can tend to pick up more contamination that is noticeable, so you got to be a little more thorough. Any of these big pieces, especially if you're going a bunch, like if you're doing the full box along this edge, you kind of want to deal with that first because if you leave that sit, there's just a much higher risk of contamination falling back into your film. So if we can prevent that, I definitely want to go that route. One thing you'll get in the habit of too, I like these sports shirts. They help me regulate my heat a little better, but they also don't lint like cotton does. A lot of times you'll find if you're wearing a black shirt working on a white vehicle, there's going to be little fluffs and they're going to drive you crazy because you won't realize where they're coming from, and then you'll suddenly remember you're wearing a black shirt. So I try to stay away from black shirts, even though they're very slimming, and my neon green shirt is not so much, but it's the choices we make. I can be thin and have abs, or I can eat poutine and pizza, so I'm going the other way. All right. Also realized I forgot my tack solution, so make sure you have everything you need before you start. I tend to run my tack a little bit, or my slip solution a little tackier when I do stuff like this, just because I don't want it falling off the truck. When I'm doing hoods and stuff, I'll do it a little bit less tacky, just so I have some more time to work with it. One thing to be conscious of, just make sure you don't overspray this tack solution, because if you put a little too much in there, you can get some bubbles that get stuck. And if we use an iso alcohol, it can be kind of annoying to get rid of that when you're going to flush it out. And I like, before I close my edges, just to dry everything off. That way it's easier to see if there's any water stuck in there, especially on these light color vehicles. It can be pretty hard to see. Check all your usual common spots. Save you some time later from getting rid of all of it. All right, I have these set to wrap over about 3/4 of an inch. So there's lots of coverage. There's a couple different ways you can deal with this edge. You can slice it, fold one edge over the other. Usually I just ask the customer what they like to do. In this case, I'm just gonna cut a little triangle out of there so it still folds over each other, but there's not as much fold over. Then obviously when you're doing this, be careful you don't cut the paint because that's a real hard fix on this edge. And don't cut your fingers because these blades are incredibly sharp. And because the bottom piece is the easier one, I'll start there. And just make sure if you're not gonna wait until these edges are dry, that you're very careful to get rid of all of the liquid that's stuck in there. And because before this bay, my bays were generally pretty dark, I kind of learned to use my fingers to measure a lot of this stuff. So if you have good visibility, like in this bay now, you can kind of keep an eye on the water pretty easily. But if you work in a darker bay, get used to using your fingers because you can feel water bubbles in the film and where edges are and stuff. It helps a lot. Just make sure you always go over it with a squeegee because your finger is great for pushing most of the water out, but it's not really the best at sealing that edge permanently. Concave corners like this are kind of nice because if you feed the tension properly, there's enough in there, it's just going to suck itself around the edge, same as vinyl does, so you'll have no trouble keeping that edge down. I like to use my hard card wrapped in a towel, obviously, so I don't damage the film, just for these hard to get into edges because it gives me enough pressure with just the back of my finger. And then the rag is to get rid of any extra water back there to make sure it stays down. Always double check your edges, make sure nothing's lifting. This is one of those jobs where you work fast by working slow. If you try to rush, you're going to make mistakes that you just have to fix. And as you get good at it, you become super efficient at knowing what to do and when. So in that case, you're not taking your time, but you're not speeding yourself along, causing you to forget stuff or make boo-boos. Hence, work faster by working slow. All right, front edge is good. Back edge is on already. Where this piece of plastic is, this trim piece back here, I do just have to trim around it, and I like to do that ahead of time. That way I don't have to really worry about forgetting about it. Because I have done that before, you get doing something else and you kind of lose track of time and then oops. And then obviously it'll come back because there's a big chunk lifted that you forgot to cut. All right, so that covers what would be considered a rocker piece, according to XPEL's cutting program anyway. Now I shall work on the big piece. So the way it's a custom piece. There's no 8-foot box pattern from XPEL in their DAP system for this yet. So I kind of just modify it to use the full piece. And then from about here back, I'll just trim along this line just because this is only for front protection. The pattern I used to make the custom template from was basically for the full box side in a one-piece configuration. And on a half box, it's just really hard to stretch this top edge without completely getting fingerprints and everything all over the place because you need a lot of pressure to do that. It's more of like a two-person job in that scenario.